still on the mound in this one. Leading off for the Oilmen, looking to inch a little bit closer after trailing 5-3 throughout this game. Clay Thompson's going to lead things off. He's 0 for 1 today, searching for his first hit here in the series.
Smeevel's looking a lot more relaxed in the later innings compared to the first inning. And, it's a big game, Game 3 NCL Championship. Ooh.
Thompson shows bunt there, takes it back, and it's going to be ball 1.
He looks locked in. He looks calm and relaxed. He just put too much pressure on himself coming into today's game. And Coach Capel had a talk with him. Rick Panic talked him down. And ever since then, he's been lights out.
And Smeevel will get the sign for the 1-0 delivery here to Clay Thompson. He'll pitch it, and Thompson grounds this one to second base. Taking it in is Vincent. Toss it over to first base for the first out of the inning. So Smeevel continues to roll along. Has not allowed a base runner since that first inning.
Yeah, I just feel like that's just how it is with the Hounds and Oilmen. Where they're very hot and then they're just quiet. These offenses just get quiet. Pitchers get into their routine and their motion. And then later on in the game, they just come out of nowhere. That's why the momentum is going to be key for if you want to take home the trophy tonight.
Trey Hondras will now step in. He is 1 for 2. He came around to score in the first inning, and he shows bunt here as this one is taken for strike 1.
I like the idea. I've never been a fan of just holding it out there, kind of showing your cards. I like to do it like last second, which is kind of like what Brandon Bandon did earlier in the game in the first. He surprised out of nowhere. I don't think anyone expected a bunt there with the guy in the 3-hole.
Yeah, beautiful bunt there in the first inning that led to a lot of things happening for that 5-run inning. The 0-1 delivery to Hondras is swung on and hit into right field. Back on it, making a read is Zeveld, and he will catch it in right field. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 5th, and that'll bring in Nick Anderson. And we're down here to 2 outs. I wanted to get your input, Tom, on if the Hounds end up holding this lead, on who you thought could be the series MVP. As Matt Botcher has been really terrific defensively and offensively. I think he's the front runner, but I wanted your opinion.
I'd have to go with Botcher as well. I think his return has been so impactful. Losing a guy like Nick Santoro to the Northwoods League is just, it's tough as it is, and Botcher has filled that role wonderfully.
First pitch to Nick Anderson's taken for a strike. Anderson reached on an error for the second baseman Vincent and then came around to score in that first inning. And he also grounded out to shortstop, and a terrific play deep in the hole from Matt Botcher to end the inning in the second. This one is low in the dirt, 1-1.
Botcher, he didn't play many games heading into this series. He had less than, I believe, 7 or 8 on the year. He's been working like a lot of kids are this summer, and he's just filled in the Nick Santoro role perfectly. And, I think it's given the Hounds a little bit of a pump-up, and it's given a lot of momentum heading into a lot of these games.
Anderson will foul this one to the right side, now down 1-2.
Something that's kind of like a little underrated that I've kind of seen is the Hounds bullpen. Their starters were a little rough. We saw what happened in yesterday's game. Then Weston Sussman gave up the 2 runs right away. Then he had 4 scoreless right after. And their bullpen's been very good this series as well. So if it comes down to a bullpen game, I'm definitely going with the Hounds.
This pitch is taken high for ball 2. Yeah, it's been kind of a parallel game. So the first game looked a lot like the second game for the Oilmen, and then the first game for the Oilmen looked a lot like the Hounds in the second game. And now here we are in the first inning where both teams get runs and then they burn zeros. It's kind of been back and forth all throughout as this one is swung on and missed for strike 3. That'll end the inning. So no runs here in the 5th inning. The score remains 5-3, which we've been locked at since the first. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. We'll head to the 6th inning. The Hounds still leading 5-3 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Slide in for Haley Couch as Indiana gets on the board. 3-1 now for the Hoosiers.
Still looking strong as well, but King is practically unmatched.
No one's going to be able to catch Lily King in this event. Everybody's going to be shooting for second, but it's also similar to the swim we saw earlier with Siobhan Hoggy, where they might be able to save a little bit for the finals. We'll see if Lily King, being the dominant swimmer that she is, does she need to give out 100% in this 100 breaststroke, or can she save some and still be the top qualifier tonight?
Yeah, and a very impressive return there from Noelle Poplowski, a teammate of Lily King, a freshman herself. But King is already out to a body length lead, which is something you don't see very often in 100-yard events.
She is the most dominant swimmer in the Big Ten. She will qualify with a time of a 57.49, well above anybody else. 2-second lead going into the finals tonight. She's clapping a little bit, happy with that swim, as it's not the best time of her career, not the best time of her season, but it's good enough to put her in first place going into the finals tonight.
The Chicago Bears' controversial quarterback competition ended with Mitchell Trubisky being named the starter. The former number 2 overall pick led his offense into Detroit and left with their first victory of the season in Week 1. The Bears scored 21 unanswered fourth-quarter points, with Anthony Miller putting the exclamation point on a 27-23 comeback win with a 27-yard touchdown with under 2 minutes to play. Trubisky passed for 3 touchdowns and 242 yards, advancing his record to a perfect 4-0 against the Lions in his career. The Bears will head back to Chicago to play the New York Giants next week.
The Indianapolis Colts took it to the New York Jets at Lucas Oil Stadium to move to 2-1 on the year. The 36-7 drubbing featured pinpoint passing from Phillip Rivers and big play after big play on D. Joining us to talk about it is our Colts insider, Andrew Fish. Andrew, are the Colts for real, or is this an easy schedule?
Well, Jeremy, I think that it has to kind of come down to what you think is real. Are the Colts a Super Bowl contender? I don't think so, but are they a team that can make the playoffs and win the AFC South? I think absolutely. Given the defense that they've produced so far this season, it looks like a team that's going to be in just about every ball game. They're going to allow Phillip Rivers to be a game manager, pound the football, run the football down some teams' throats. I think that they have a good chance to win just about any game they play.
How good is this Colts defense? People are talking about it.
Yeah, you know, they've got stars all along this defense. I really like the pass rushers in DeForest Buckner and Justin Houston, as well as the anchor of that defense in Darius Leonard being a leader both on and off the field. I think that he's turning into one of the best linebackers in football and has a chance to really make some noise when it comes down to the award season and the end of the year.
After looking a little shaky in Week 1, who are some key players that have spurred the team's early season turnaround?
Well, I think the emergence of rookie running back Jonathan Taylor has really formulated this offense into a team where they can just run the football, manage the clock, and allow for Phillip Rivers not to have to throw down the field, because at this point of his career, he's best at kind of, addressing the offense through short passes and allowing them to just kind of dink and dunk their way down the field, and that's why the Colts have looked so good in the last 2 weeks.
Our defense was catastrophic on the weekend. We committed 13 errors, and we saw it from kids that are really good, and that happens. The best of the best make mistakes all the time, and what happens when you're not performing well or you're just out of the gate and you have a couple losses, you put that weight of the team on your shoulders, and when you make a mistake, it becomes so monumental. You either got to pitch well that day or you got to hit well that day. You have 2 of the 3, you usually win a ball game.